Today I'll review vaginal tears versus episiotomies and what is best for a fast return to an active lifestyle after birth. If you have not done so yet, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos for active pregnant mamas. Now, before getting into what is best between a vaginal tear and an episiotomy, we should start by defining what they are so we're all speaking the same language. So a perineal tear is when the area between the vagina and the anus tears as a result of baby coming through the vaginal opening during birth. There's different degrees of tearing. A first degree tear involves just the skin. The second degree tear involves the pelvic floor muscles around the vagina. A third degree tear involves a partial tear of the anal sphincter muscle here. And a fourth degree tear, we're talking about a tear that goes right from the vaginal wall all the way until the rectum. This is quite a rare thing, and I'll knock on wood because I've never seen a fourth degree tear in my practice. But I've seen quite a few third degree ones and plenty of first and second degree ones because they're quite common. An episiotomy is when your provider cuts the tissues between the vagina and the anus. The incision can be done in the middle here, which we call a midline episiotomy. Or it could be a mediolateral episiotomy, which is at an angle either on the right or the left. The midline incision has more risk of extending into the anal area when the baby comes out, which would result in a third or fourth degree tear. Whereas the mediolateral incision is less likely to result in a severe tear, but it does not heal as well and it is more painful in the postpartum phase. In the old days, episiotomies were a standard procedure because it was believed that the perineum would heal better than after a natural tear. They also thought that by cutting the perineum, it would prevent larger tears from happening. But new research has shown that it was not the case and natural tears heal better. The reason for this is that a natural tear often has a rugged shape. So it's easier for the tissues to reconnect together because there's a bigger surface area to connect both parts. Whereas with the episiotomy, it's a straight cut. So there is less surface area to promote healing. Does that make sense? Also, like we just discussed, with the midline episiotomies, it does put people at greater risk of severe tears. And sometimes the incision is actually deeper than what a vaginal tear would have been if we had just let things happen on their own. So because of that, episiotomies should be a last resort intervention. It might be recommended if a baby needs to come out quickly for safety reasons, for example, in a case of shoulders dystocia, unusual heart rate, or a forceps or vacuum extraction scenario, for example. Otherwise, if things are going well and there is no medical reason to perform an episiotomy, the idea is that we should let the perineum tear on its own for better recovery outcomes. Now, I don't know where you live and what the practices are in your hospital, but this is something you can discuss ahead of time with your care team, asking what the episiotomy rate is in your hospital and what would be the scenarios where they would perform an episiotomy. I know there's some places in the world where unfortunately episiotomies are still a routine practice, but if this is something you absolutely don't want, make sure you're clear about it in your birth plan and also that your birth partner is aware of that because then they can advocate for you if that was to come up during your birth. Like I said, there are some scenarios where you may not have the choice because of course baby and mom safety are always first. But if you give birth in a hospital where the practices are not up to date and they want to perform an episiotomy even though there is no medical indication, this is when you may want to put your foot on the ground and advocate for yourself. Now, if you have not done so yet, make sure you grab my free book for active moms-to-be who are in early pregnancy and want to be proactive in preparing their pelvic floor for an injury-free birth and a smooth return to their active lifestyle after baby. The link to download my book is in the description below. And if you're curious about how I got away with minimal tearing for my birth, Make sure you watch this video next. I will put the link in the description as well. Thanks for watching.